Week 1 of the NFL season is upon us. Draftkings will have their first millionaire contest, a million to first. To start this out, let's talk about the games that everybody's going to be on. Number 1, Arizona at San Francisco. 48-point over-under. Two good offenses, division game. Vegas says there's going to be fireworks. We already know this. If you look back to 2019, you think, first, San Francisco has an awesome defense. They have a chance to blow these guys out. But that's not the way those two division games played out. Arizona was able to score some points against them, and I believe they'll be able to do it this year too, especially in year two. In year two, our coaching staff's year 2 here. Number 2, Tampa Bay at New Orleans. 48-point over-under in that game, and you got two GOATs. Tom Brady, the Messiah, Drew Brees. Vegas says there's going to be some fireworks. Just think about it. The personnel that they have, the wide receivers on both sides, there should be some fireworks. And people will be on that game too as well. And then the last game, number 3, Cleveland at Baltimore. A 48.5-point over-under. So you got the reigning MVP. And it's a division game. And you got an underperforming team in the Cleveland Browns. I think they're gonna come out. They got something to prove. They're gonna come out and they're gonna be able to show that they can score some points here too as well. So I'm kind of with Vegas with on this game. There should be some points scored, but I think there are 3 games that are underrated that people may bypass. Number 1 is going to be Miami at New England. 42-point over-under. And I'm going to start on the Miami side here because think about this. Last year, week 1, New England blew them out. In fact, New England's defense scored 37 Draftkings points. But as the year went on and they solidified themselves with Fitzpatrick as their quarterback, who's going to be the week 1 quarterback here, they were able to score some points against some teams. And one of those teams late in the season was the Patriots. They actually beat them. Now, obviously, during that time frame, the Patriots already had the division wrapped up in the playoffs. And you could say, hey, look, they didn't care. But that's not the way that the Patriots play. Everybody knows that. But I think based on this being year 2 of that coaching regime with the Dolphins, that we're going to see some extra wrinkles. Why are we going to see some extra wrinkles? Because that coaching staff used to be part of the Patriots coaching staff. And they know the Patriots, so I expect some surprises. And some of those surprises are going to lead to some points scored. Plus, the Patriots, their defense isn't as strong as it was last year. They're missing players because of COVID, and they're also missing players because all the defense because of free agency. When you factor those 2 things in, or those multitudes of things in, I can see some points scored on the Dolphins side. Now, when we move over to the Patriots side, new quarterback, and you think, okay, they're going to have some problems. Yeah, they'll have a few miscues. But I think the fact that their quarterback is a dual threat and they can lean more on the run, that there will be an opportunity for less errors, and then the errors in the passing game probably won't matter as much, especially if they're able to get that running game going. But I think they're going to be able to score points. And with that said, when you put the two teams together, you have a chance for energy to come together in such a way that you'll have an explosion of points. It could be pretty special. The third game that I'm pretty excited about is the Chicago Bears at the Detroit Lions. 42.5 over under. Now, here's the thing. The offseason starts out. Chicago gets a new quarterback, Nick Big Dick Foles. Think about this. Everybody, everybody was like, hey, Nick Foles is going to be the starter. There's no way Mitch Trubisky is going to get the starting job. But what happens? He gets a starting job. And now, Mitch Trubisky has somebody behind him that if he fails, he knows he may never get this chance to start again. So I believe that he'll use all of the attributes that he has in his body to play as well as he can. That means his arm and his legs. So I expect the dual threat version of Trubisky to come out week 1. And then think about this. Detroit's defense, not very good. Not very good in the secondary. They're missing some pieces that they had last year, so it should be even worse. So there could be a chance for A-Rob and Anthony Miller to be running wide open in that secondary. And that just makes it easier for Mitch Trubisky. On Detroit's side, they showed last year that they were willing to change their philosophy. I really thought in 2018 that they would be more of a running team. They ran the ball a little bit more, but in 2019 when Stafford wasn't hurt, they actually threw the ball a lot more than they had in 2008. So I think that they're going to still have that same philosophy, and if they do, I expect them to throw the ball a lot more, especially since their running back and their rushing game is in flux. So I could see this 42.5 point over under being obliterated pretty easily. So, with that said, those are going to be the games that I kind of focus on a little bit here when I'm putting my lineup together. So, with that said, let's jump into it. Let's see how we could go about putting a good lineup together this weekend. So, starting at quarterback. Let's start at top. Lamar Jackson, reigning MVP for a reason, averaged almost 30 points a game last year. Going against a division rival that he had good success against last year, I don't see any way he's slowing down here. And I don't think it really matters. If Cleveland's able to stop their passing game, then I could see Lamar Jackson succeeding rushing. If they're able to stop the rushing, the arm, I don't think they're going to be able to stop either one of them. So I see a good mix of passing and rushing from Lamar Jackson. Now the price point is key here. It's pretty high. So pretty much to hit that price point, I mean, he's going to have to score 30 plus points. So if you want a version of Lamar Jackson at a cheaper price point, I think you got 3 really good options to me. Josh Allen going in against the New York Jets. The New York Jets, their secondary isn't as strong. They lost their best safety. And Josh Allen's had success with them against them before. And then if you move down from there, you got Murray, Kyler Murray at $6,400, $100 less than Josh Allen. But the one that I really, really have my eye on is Cam Newton. I think a lot of people have their eye on him. $6,100, $2,000 cheaper than Lamar Jackson. And if he does 70% of what Lamar Jackson's capable of, I think he could hit his price point. He can reward us at that price point. So I already talked about the game environment there and Cam Newton, so I'm kind of going to bypass talking more about him. But if you want another version of him, and I already talked about him too, Mitch Trubisky. Dual threat, run, throw, but look at the price point. Beautiful price point. And if you haven't noticed the theme here for me with quarterbacks, especially with the first week, since you don't know what's really going to happen, the theme to me is dual threats. Dual threats. So, to me, the quarterbacks that fit that mold, and you can add Minshew to that too because he has some rushing ability too as well. But Mitch Trubisky at the price point of $5,400, that's my man right there. Moving over to running backs, it's not a bad thing to start at the top here. McCaffrey, the show, dual threat, and I don't see any way he's going to slow down even with the new coaching staff here. They're still going to give him the ball 20 plus times, and I wouldn't be surprised he got it 30 times this first week, especially since you got a new quarterback. You're trying to fill your way through being comfortable, and without that long preseason, I could see that. Lean on your horse. So yeah, that's obvious. Cook the same way, Dalvin Cook. Everything that I could say about McCaffrey, I could say about Cook to a lesser degree. So those would be fine options to start your lineup with. Fact, throw Cook in there right now. Now, if you wanted some more mid-range options to kind of take a glance at and think about, I think one of the first options you could think about is Joe Mixon. Now, a lot of people will tell you, they'll say, hey, look, well, Joe Mixon, he's just a rusher. He has no ability to catch the ball. But that's not totally true. In college, Joe Mixon did catch some passes. He caught a lot of passes. Now, to me, that says that he has upside. He has receiving upside. And how can he fulfill that receiving upside? With the new quarterback. Rookie quarterback. I mean, if he gets in trouble, why not wing it to a running back? I could see them utilizing Joe Mixon in the passing game a lot more than they did in the past. And this could be the game that they do it in. And if that's the case, Joe Mixon with rushing and receiving upside, no brainer. If we move on down from there, Ingram is another running back that's caught my eye. And this is solely because everyone's pretty much down on Ingram because of his workload and the offense, because he's got a quarterback that's capable of running in short touchdowns, short yardage, all that type of stuff. But I could see early in the season, and they did it last season. In fact, week one was, I believe, Ingram's best week in terms of scoring Draftkings points. I think he scored in 30 plus points, if I'm not mistaken. But I could see him doing it again here. And I don't think he needs that many carries. He gets 18 carries, scores a touchdown. He hits his price point. So I think he's more than capable of doing that, and I believe that people will shy away from him because of his situation. The other low price running backs that I would be interested in, at 4,600, Sony Michel. And here's why. Because I think the Patriots are going to lean more on the rush than they have in the past, having a dual quarterback, dual threat quarterback. And it's just the easiest way to acclimate a quarterback into your system. Rush the ball more, make him comfortable, give him easy throws, and especially against a defense that hasn't shown that they can stop a running back in like 3 years. Why not? Now, Sony Michel, he scores a touchdown, gets you 15 rushes there. I could see that all within his capabilities. He would hit value for you. The last running back that I would take a gander at would be Antonio Gibson. He's at the price point of $4,000. Now, everybody's on him. Obviously, they got rid of their first and second running backs on the depth chart. So now they pretty much have a committee. A committee that is going to be led by a veteran no name. I'm not even going to mention his name because I'm not even going to roster him. But to me, it comes down to Antonio Gibson and Bryce Love. So I would lean Antonio Gibson because of his receiving chops. And from what I've heard, he's capable of blocking, so that they shouldn't limit him when it comes to being in on third downs or anything like that. So I could see him having 10 carries rushing and about 5 or 6 balls thrown his way from a target standpoint. And that could be bumped up if they're losing. If they're losing, then he could have more of the target share. So I think those are good options at running back. Now for wide receiver, Michael Thomas, Julio Jones, Devontae Adams, no brainers, and really no brainers for these reasons. Michael Thomas and Julio Jones, to me, you can bunch them together. Two offenses that like to throw the ball a lot and condensed target shares to their alpha dogs. Okay, that's Mike Thomas and Julio Jones. Devontae Adams, a little bit different. Green Bay doesn't throw the ball as much, but when they throw the ball, they throw an obscene amount of balls to Devontae Adams. So that would be the reason to roster them. Now, another guy I would add in there would be Chris Godwin. Now, I wasn't going to really think about adding him into the mix at first. And the reason why is because I know everybody's saying, hey, Tom Brady likes to throw to the slot, which Godwin will be. But with Mike Evans there, it's not a guarantee. But now, since Mike Evans is doubtful, that's a great situation for Godwin. Who else will he throw the ball to? I mean, Miller. Well, he's also got Gronkowski. He might lean on Gronk a little bit more. But I think that opens up a lot more targets here to Godwin. So that would be a great opportunity for Godwin to shine there and hit his price point. Anthony, and also Thielen, Adam Thielen. Yeah, I think he has a good opportunity too as well. With Diggs gone, that means more of the target share should go to him, especially with a rookie as his cohort. I mean, it's going to take a while for that rookie to get acclimated. So we really don't know what's going to happen there with the rookie. But we know that Adam Thielen is going to be the alpha dog of that receiving group. Then the other wide receiver that's really caught my eye, and really the apple of my eye right now, is Allen Robinson. I'm expecting big things from him week 1 against Detroit. Already talked about how porous Detroit's secondary is. So I really believe that Allen Robinson will have time to shine. And when I say time, it's going to be wide open, so he should have a lot of time to flash some moves, maybe a Heisman or two. Moving on down from there, I really dig coupling Allen Robinson with Mr. Jones. So I really dig this game, and I think it's going to be a game that goes over the 42 and a half points, way over it. And if that's so, then I want to bring it back on the other side. I already got Mitch Trubisky and A-Rob, Allen Robinson in the lineup. So let's bring it back with Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones has shown big play capability, great route runner, great hands, and actually he's been targeted a lot when it comes to the end zone too. So I like the game. So I think this is a scenario where Marvin Jones could shine. Now, when we talk about lower price options, the first thing that comes to mind is Djax. Djax is at $4,900 going against Washington's poor secondary. Fast. All he does is makes his quarterbacks better. It's been proven year after year. And on top of that, the wide receiver core is diminished because of injury. So it's a no-brainer to roster him, and a lot of people are going to be on him. The last guy that I would think about rostering when you get down to the lower quadrants of the salary here would be Bryan Edwards, rookie Bryan Edwards. Now, when I think about Bryan Edwards, you have to think about who he's going to be paired with here. So, Williams, gone. He's out. He's on IR. Well, so you got Henry Ruggs, Bryan Edwards, and Hunter Renfrow. So I think that Hunter Renfrow is kind of sneaky too, but just based on things that I was hearing from training camp and the beat reporters' messages and all that good stuff that's been said about Bryan Edwards, everybody's been overhyping Ruggs. And I could see this be a game where Bryan Edwards comes out and puts a stamp on the season and says, hey, you may think you're the alpha dog, Ruggs, but you're not. So I really am leaning towards Bryan Edwards here. At tight end is a little bit more straightforward. At tight end, Kittle comes to mind. Obviously, they're playing against the worst defense in terms of guarding tight ends, Arizona. So, I mean, it's a no-brainer there. And in fact, the two tight ends at the top, Kittle and Andrews, no-brainers to me. So, Kittle also, you got to think about this. San Francisco's wide receiver core is depleted due to injury, and some of the wide receivers are limited. And also, they have a rookie wide receiver that was supposed to be starting, so why not lean on Kittle? Kittle seems to be the only one of the few that's going to be healthy. So why not? Mark Andrews' situation is a little bit different. One, his target share wasn't, it was pretty good. The target share is fine, but he didn't run, he didn't have a lot of snaps in comparison to some of the bigger name tight ends. But when you think about his situation, he had three tight ends, three capable tight ends that were on the team with him. Well, think about this. One of those tight ends is gone. Went to Atlanta. He's gone. So I believe that Andrews will have more snaps. And with the more snaps that he has, he'll have a higher share, target share, that is. And I think he has the ability, more than the ability, to pay off that $6,000 price tag. In fact, I'd go as far to say if I had a choice between Kittle and Andrews, that I would take Andrews. Now, if we were to go down to more of a mid range or a lower range tight end, the tight end that I would most likely want to put in my lineup would be Chris Herndon. And the reason is it's solely on what he did prior to his injury. He was out all last year, and prior to his injury, he was a top 10 tight end, and he had good rapport with his quarterback. So I could see those two things rolling over into week one. His rapport, and I'm sure he didn't lose his abilities. So I would bank on him being the type of player that can meet and exceed his salary there. Now, moving over to defense. Oh, and actually, before we do that, there is one more tight end that just speculative here. A lower end tight end that I was thinking about. Ryan Izzo. So here's the deal with Ryan Izzo. One, New England's tight end core is in flux right now. They got a rookie and they got several tight ends. But Ryan Izzo is a veteran, and Cam Newton likes to lean on his tight ends. So I could see for week one, Izzo being that tight end that Newton leans on. And if that's the case, then he has an opportunity to succeed or exceed his price point of $2,500. From there, we were to move on to defense. Really, there's only three defenses that caught my eye. The Patriots at 3,200 playing Miami. And here's the real reason why, point blank straightforward. Last year, and even the year before, Miami's turnover differential was a negative 10, okay? That's towards the bottom. So they have a propensity to turn the ball over a lot. And as I said before with Fitzpatrick, he doesn't care. He's going to push that ball. And there may be an opportunity or two for the Patriots to get a quick turnover, and one of those turnovers could turn into 6 points. Can never guarantee that, but that's my aim, is to try to get in situations where my defense can get turnovers, and hopefully one of those turnovers can turn into points. Also sacks. Fitzpatrick and the line that they had last year, I don't think it improved that much. Fitzpatrick isn't that mobile, so I could see an opportunity for some sacks to here as well. The Chargers would be the other defense that I would be interested in rostering at $2,800. So with the Chargers, they're playing a rookie quarterback. And they're, okay, I get it. Coaching staff, all that type of stuff. Things are different in Cincinnati. But last year, same coaching staff, right? Last year, Cincinnati had a negative 14 turnover differential, which was towards the bottom of the league too, right? So they turned over the ball a lot, and you'll say, hey, well, they got a new quarterback, and he's awesome. He's like the next coming. Well, I say to you, hey, he's a rookie. Not every day do rookies come in the league and have an awesome career from the beginning. So I could see him having some rookie woes during week one. And if that occurs, The Chargers will capitalize. Turnovers, sacks. So I'm jumping at that opportunity to take the Chargers defense against a rookie quarterback. Then the last defense, and I'll just say, hey, look, it's not a great defense, but here I don't think it matters all that much. The Jacksonville Jaguars at 2,300, and that's the lowest I'm going to go on the defenses. Same thing here. So they are playing Indianapolis, the Colts. They don't turn the ball over that much. No, they don't. They don't. But they have a new quarterback, Philip Rivers. Philip Rivers was with the Chargers last year. And the Chargers' turnover differential with Philip Rivers was negative 17, tied for dead last. So, to me, that's an opportunity. Yeah, it's not a great defense. It's not the Jaguars of old. But these Jaguars have an opportunity to meet a stiff quarterback, one that can't move, sacks, and a quarterback that doesn't care. He'll force that ball anywhere. Turnovers. So that's all I need. Give me that chance. Give me a chance at sacks and turnovers. So the Jaguars, you're on the team. And to round out this lineup, we got $10,300 left. Where else would we spend that money than to put the best player in fantasy football on your team? Chris McCaffrey.